create a space like that specifically for entrepreneurs, where we're doing this on a monthly basis, and we have that community network for everybody. So yeah, that's it for the Innovators Circle. I just changed something. But yeah, for the new innovators, do you guys have any questions? Yes. Share more about that soon. Glad you brought that.
What's going on, y'all? My name is Nate Robert Paisley. I run a company called VSN, Digital Solutions Nexus. Pretty much what we do is we create multimedia, 3D immersive experiences for real estate development companies. Can y'all hear me in the back? No. Basically what we do is we create, let me stand up. Basically what we do is we create virtual experiences, immersive 3D experiences for real estate development companies all around the country, all around the world. I also am an author. I've written a book called Design to Win, a guide to scaling with your unique talents. And also I started a program out of that book to help people to scale their business. So if you need help scaling with your company, let me know. That's what I'm here for. But yeah, if you want to find me on socials, Nate Robert Paisley on every platform.
I just wanted to share this book with y'all. He didn't mention it, but that's, well, actually, he mentioned the book. Just want to let y'all know, this brother has a paperback copy and a hardback. Okay. So, it's a hardback. Y'all got two options, and it's an audio book too. So, y'all got multiple ways to access the book. I would definitely highly recommend it. Not just because Nate's sitting right here, but also just because of the vast amount of experience that this brother has collected in his entrepreneurial journey. So, I just want to mention that. And what's going on, everybody? My name is Darren Anderson, founder of Skyhouse Media, a video marketing company based here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Also a co-founder of Open Door CLT, something that me and Nate started back in came up with the idea last year or something like that? Yeah, so, we just been running with the idea, just figuring out what does Open Door CLT look like? And this is the, so, this is what has came out of that idea. So we definitely appreciate you guys for that. And if you want to connect with me personally, DarrenA.co on pretty much all social media platforms. If you want to tap in with our company, it is Skyhouse Media. All right, cool. So we are in this amazing space right now, Mind Design, and we want to let Brother Harrison introduce the space. It's Harrison right here, y'all. Let's clap it up.
Good evening. Good evening. That was boring. Good evening. Good evening. Great. Nice to meet y'all. So I'll be extroverted when I need it, so right now it's be needed, so just talk back to me. So again, good evening. My name is Harrison Williams. I'm the Director of Strategic Sales here at Mind. Does anybody know anything about Mind? Great, so we're starting from ground zero. So everybody knows what Invisalign is for your teeth. So we can do that for any apparatus at the bottom. So we have our technology and processes where we can digitize the whole process of making custom products. So we are based here in North Carolina. You are sitting in our headquarters. This is our digital factory where we do the end-to-end process here. And then we are put clinical specialists as implanted within our Georgia clinics, our New York clinics, and then we're expanding to Tennessee and South Carolina this year. We're actually getting ready for our Series A next year, so we are getting prep to do that, to get to that $10 million evaluation, and then expand from there, go into sports medicine, working with Stanford, and other top sport orthopedic clinics. So that's kind of what we do here at Mind. As you can see, one of the things that's special about Mind is that we actually partner with local artists to do our business. So right here, our creative director actually did the mural that actually did our product line. So you know how in fashion they have the different hair shape, all those different type of names. But we created the phenotype where a diamond shape, we made a brace for that instead of small, medium, large. We compare it to the body instead of doing it from a mass-produced concept. So we don't have to partner with China or India. We get all of our raw materials here, and we can actually get our products to our patients in timely fashion. We also partner with Fly Next Door, which is a print t-shirt company. They do our bags for our scoliosis patients. And then we also partner with local artists that designs our scrubs for our clinical specialists to utilize in the clinic. So we are very grassroots in our nature, even though we are a high-growth startup, which sometimes you don't see that intersection with it, but we're very intentional in creating that space. Especially for myself on the side, I'm really organizing in the ecosystem building space. So a lot of intersection within that when we talk about health equity, health access for marginalized communities.
Y'all for a tour?
Yes.
I want to go a tour. Tour? All right. Let's go to a tour.
All right. All right, everybody follow me to the back.
Harrison from
Yeah, so we're gonna finish up the rest of the walkthrough at the end. If y'all want to see the space, then y'all can just walk through with you. So the quote of the day. One of the best things I believe about this forum is the fact that we can talk. It's not just from this side to that side. And a quote that I really wanted to say to you is it's an African proverb. I'm from Nigeria, so this means a lot to me. But it goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, go together, right? So I want to open it up and ask what this means to y'all. And then I'll share what it means to me too. Anyone want to go first?
It's like, I'm also African, so this product is a similar product. It's like a broom. So it's basically like a broomstick. I'm not sure if you all probably use brooms over here, but it's probably super African. But basically the whole idea is like if there's a broom, you take one stick out the broom, you can break it. But if you have a whole bunch of like, you take the actual broom and try to break it, it's not working. So that's the kind of same mindset I get with that. Is that if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, it's just like that.
And also something else I thought about with that is like, if you're trying to sweep the ground and you have one little stick, you're gonna have a hard time. But if you have like the whole thing, all the bushes, you'll be able to like sweep a lot faster. Anybody else?
It makes me think that like you can get there regardless, but you want longevity. I think going far, you get more like longevity in that versus just going fast, like get there and lose.
Yeah, I think about infrastructure. Everything needs to have the bare bones to anything that you do. You take a house, infrastructure in a house. There's infrastructure in business. There's infrastructure in people as well. So it's just going fast doesn't necessarily, you can still go fast with a team. You just have to make sure that you have the right team. So yeah, that's all I think about is infrastructure with that quote.
Somebody else has it.
I didn't get to introduce myself with the threes, but my name is Delvin, I'm a photographer. I see this quote, like almost every other quote has two sides to the story. And so the way I see this is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I'm in the military, and so when we go and do like a mission, you do a recon, you send out like a Cav Scout or something like that to survey the area before you move the entire body. And so I see that you can use both, you kind of need to use both as an entrepreneur. You don't want to just jump out there with your whole family as an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to go fast and figure out as much information and then bring that back to the collective, and then you can kind of move as a unit and move better. So I kind of see it as that, like, there's only times where you need to go fast and go along to figure it out, and then you can come back to the group, and then you all have a better understanding of what's coming.
I was off of your point, man. That was fantastic what you said. And I don't know if you might have already said what I'm about to say.
started my company back in 2019, and I was definitely going alone when I first started. There was a lot of lonely times, just like me being the only one that really like had the idea, trying to explain it to others. People didn't really want to be a part of it because it was so early on. So that's what you said is big, because sometimes you kind of have to go out there and see what's out there, validate your, I call it a secret, whatever you start your business with, and then bring it back home. And then you can get that buy-in. And you can't be mad, because when people can't see it, they can't see it. But when they can, it will be hard. You don't even have to convince them, to be a part of that, growth, and to be a part of that business. And so it took a while to actually start growing the team. And one thing I would say as well is like, I feel like I did it a little too late. I feel like I could have started bringing on team members earlier on, but I would say the motion of not wanting to lose control was really what like stopped me from doing that. But now I've brought on quite a few team members, two of which are sitting right here. This is my COO and my CTO. And to this point, and to kind of like expand on this point, and to go with what you said, we have gone faster than we've ever gone before, because we have people who are in the right direction, in the same direction. And so, yeah, you have anything else?
I think it also boils down to how well are we able to communicate the vision as well. So I love the fact that you mentioned like it maybe felt like too late, but what if it wasn't? As far as like adding new team members and things like that, because I know for myself, bro, like when I was speaking with maybe a few entrepreneurs this past month and saying like, yo, I'm still doing this dolo, I'm gonna hold it down, dolo and things like that, and I gotta think about like, is that a choice that we want to make, or is it because maybe we're having challenges communicating our vision to others? I don't know. It's really just a question. But I'm glad you mentioned that though.
Yeah, so it's important to, first of all, figure out what that vision is, communicate it, like you said, with others, to where they can get that buy-in. Looks like we got another point back here.
Hi, I'm Tamara. So for me, it's like a mashup of what both you guys said, but there's this thing that I learned that I think is like later on became really important. I don't work well with teams. This is always a thing I tell everyone. I go to interviews and they're like, "Are you a team player?" I'm like, "I can't lie." The reason I don't work well with teams, I have a goal. It's not very easy to get persons to move at the pace. And I would rather do the entire team's work than to ask the team to keep my pace. And that has been a problem. So when I started my company, one of my companies, and I got an investor, and he said, "You're the CEO of the company. Everything that goes wrong, it's your fault. Everything that goes right, it's your fault." I took that to heart. He had to call me. He's just like, "Hey, guess what? Delegating is a thing. You have to delegate." And then I had this mentor. She said to me, "Do you know why?" Now, to the point of the first part, if you want to go fast, go alone. Do you know why you're good at ideas? Because when you're alone, you sit, you break them down, you understand where you want to go. But do you know why you can't go far? You get emotional, you get connected, it becomes your baby. It's this love relationship. You need to now bring the team together. But they don't care about anything that's passion. They just want their pay, or they just want to get something done, or they're interested in this, and you need all those personalities to come in, and then you will go far. So I had to like step back, watch people mess up my ideas, and be like, dang it. But then, as soon as they got it, they were better than I could ever be. Like I had to just step back and just be out of the way, because this team that is failing and building together, they're forming something much more gigantic than I could have done by myself. and they're removed with the emotion. So that's another thing I think entrepreneurs get really emotional about their kids. Until you can just release it and just have somebody else be in charge of it, you won't go far. You can go fast, but truthfully, this is why 100 meters is like, it's a quick race. You know, you run out of steam because you put so much behind it. You need the others to kind of just bring you along. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents.
That's great. Welcome.
I'd say as an advisor to small businesses and entrepreneurs, what I see is entrepreneurs have a passion and they're great at what they do. They've got a product, they've got a message, they've got something to get out in the world. And so they may leave their corporate gig and they do the thing, but they don't have the full skill set. And also, what happens if they get sick? They're not producing cash. What happens when they want to take a vacation? They can't. They basically bought themselves a job that they can't get out of. So as you begin to build a team and to delegating, you build that support and you actually create a business, which is very different than being a solo entrepreneur.
What up?
We were having a conversation earlier, and someone spoke to it, but I think of teamwork or your team as answers to problems that you probably didn't even know you had. So I'm a people. I didn't think that I don't have the idea of expanding my solo business. I don't think about having a team. I don't want to own a spa. I like the comfort and the closeness I have with my clients. But there's only so much I can make alone. So when we're talking about drawing money, making your money make money, I can't do that alone. I need to bring on someone who helps with books. And I need to think about someone who helps scale. Because maybe I don't want to scale this business, but I have to put some money aside. What's my next idea? I didn't know I had a problem until I got to, this place where I'm a fully booked person. And I'm like, okay, I'm one person, so I only have the capacity to make this much money. What's my next idea? I don't want to scale this business, but my next business I need to scale. Who's going to help with other people? You know what I mean? So it's just running into issues that you didn't even anticipate. That's your team. Because I'm the visionary, you are the workers. You know what I mean? And so that's what I think about when it comes to team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I tell my clients the same thing. Like, talking to parents, it's like, look, your job is to go and make the money. Create the vision and let us in the background help bring it to fruition. That's your job. You go get the money, create the vision, and we'll make it all make sense. That's what this is.
I was going to mention something that Amy had mentioned, and one thing that always stuck to me to this day, it'll probably stick with me for the rest of my life, is before transitioning into entrepreneurship, one thing my old boss always reminded me of was the bus factor. I might have mentioned it before in a previous session. Who is familiar with the bus factor? Okay, one. Anybody else? So the bus factor is, if you were to get hit by a bus tomorrow, how long would your business survive without you? And for most of us, myself included, probably a week and then boom, it's done. So what can we do, whether that's adding team members, adding systems, to where that bus factor can kind of be prolonged? Like, all right, now my bus factor is at a month. Now my bus factor is at a year. Now my bus factor, hey, God forbid get hit by a bus, we know for a fact that the business can still do what it needs to do. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
One last thing I wanted to add is there's a book that I read called The E-Myth. So y'all should definitely check that out. It's called The E-Myth. And it talks about the person who does the thing and how you're at this job, you're really good at this thing, and you think, I'm so good at this, my boss isn't. They're not, they're taking advantage of me, and I just need to go out there and do my own thing. And you get into it, you create a job for yourself within your business, just like you said. And it talks about how you can avoid that. And that's actually the worst. That's the worst thing, because now you don't have any time, right? And you start to resent the thing that you loved in the beginning because you went into business. And it's interesting because I have a student that's a hairstylist. She's always booked as well. And she's starting to resent not only the business but the clients.
Her clients, yeah.
And it's kind of interesting to kind of hear her talk about this because she's trying to find a way out, of that, just doing that pivot. And we've come up with a few strategies for her to start teaching other people how to, just to get back into what she actually desires to do within the business. And so it's a very interesting thing. So this quote, I'm probably going to frame this after this, because it's really amazing.
So yes, one thing that we have all practiced today is the power of teamwork in our first exercise. And we just want to, share a couple of these things that, going around the power of teamwork. So first, understanding the team dynamic. You touched on it a little bit earlier, how adding team members such as COO, CTO, just building out that team dynamic. So I'm not going to touch too deep on these specific points, but significance of recognizing and appreciating different personalities within a team. One thing I'm learning like right now, bro, and one thing I've seen in past jobs is like different personalities. I have more questions than that. I don't have any answers about like managing different personalities yet. And then how diverse strengths and weaknesses contribute to the overall team effectiveness. I know for myself, adding Jordan to the team is like, all right, there's things that I may be too emotional on, but him being a person that's more detached from the business would be like, hey, check this out instead. Because I know that I'm looking at it from, I forgot who said it, like, hey, this is my baby, hey, so we think about it a little bit differently. Company culture and fit. So the role of company culture in attracting and retaining the right talent, going back to how well are we communicating that vision, specifically when it comes to building our team. And then of course, like learning how to assess cultural fit during the hiring process. That's one thing that Ebony has shared with us earlier. For a lot of these things, I have more questions than answers. Would love to expand a little bit more on, what do you guys experience with some of these things, especially when understanding team dynamics, or whether that's culture, or even delegation, like you had mentioned in Beth. So do you guys have any points or any questions, comments, or anything on these points? Go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name's Lucia, excuse my tardiness. But that being said, I think you guys all made really great points in regards to just infrastructure, the business plan, and understanding the culture aspect of things. I think one of the most important things is that on a consistent basis, we need to check ourselves, right? As a leader, one thing because I helped establish a business that I'm currently working on too right now. That being said, one thing we don't do often enough is check ourselves, right? The culture that you would like to develop for your business comes from you. Does that make sense? So leadership comes top down, information comes top down, and never goes down up. Does that make sense? And so one thing that we need to continuously do as entrepreneurs is check ourselves and leave our egos at the door. A lot of times we take in our titles as CEO, maybe chief of staff, whatever that may be, and we're like, oh, I know more than you, but you'll be amazed at what you can learn from new talent. You'll be amazed at what you can learn from new hires. You'll be amazed at what you can learn from your mentees, right? And so one of the most important things is that we go into every room with a learning mentality, because it doesn't matter where you sit in the room, how high you sit up. If you have a learner's mentality, you're always able to adjust yourself, and you're always able to, even outside of adjusting, just being a good listener helps, because you're learning. You're learning how to solve, you're learning how to listen for things. And so now as a leader, you can go and say, hey, you know what? I spoke to a lot of the people who work on the floor as a manager, and it's your job to report back. It's your job to be an advocate. It's not to boss people around, but to be an advocate for your team. Does that make sense? And so the thing is, hey, you know what, Chia? I know that you said that this is working, but this would be great, but we worked on it and it didn't work. We tried it for 6 months and it didn't work. Can we sit down and have a conversation about what some of the input is coming, like what the input they're saying about what would work and what wouldn't work? So we have to check ourselves and our egos, and just remember, at one point we was one person as well. At one point we started with nothing as well. At one point it started as a vision and a dream, so we have to remember to check our egos at the door, because it's very easy to get lost in the sauce and say, this is my company, and you're just the one working for me. Does that make sense? So in all aspects of things, to have a team to provide perspective and to help you delegate is what's also really important outside of systems and having things in place.
And to kind of piggyback off that, one way I like to like nurture my team in that aspect is to use the idea of honey and vinegar. And so, like I was saying at the beginning about going out first and maybe going fast in the beginning, you learning all these things that you may need as a business. So you learn like you need CRM, you need marketing, you need all these things. And then as you start to get people into your business, the information that you have obtained can be seeds that you give those people. And every day after that, you should not be still planting seeds, you should be watering the seeds. And so you water it by like giving them rewards that they wanna, if they the CRM person, that's what they love to do. It's not so much about telling them what to do, it's about making them love what they're doing. And then they're gonna take it even further.
Investing in watering, exactly. I think that's so important. Is looking at strengths, right? It's easy for us to look at weaknesses of our team members and other people that we lead. But a lot of times, if you look at their weaknesses, there's a quote that one of my mentors told me. They said, if you have time to judge someone, you don't have time to love them, and you don't have time to care about what they have in their lives. So just remember that if you're constantly judging other people, just know that just like everyone has shortcomings, you do as well. And so the easiest thing to do is, my mentor told me, she said, pick 3 things that you like about that person. Let's say maybe you don't work well with them, or maybe you do, or maybe, you're just trying to learn how to get along with a team member, or maybe you're just trying to get to know them. Pick 3 strengths that you see in a person and focus on those things. And as you do, you'll be able to see where their strengths are and where their weaknesses are, but you'll be able to kind of just use it. When I say use, I mean work together to really establish a goal or accomplish something, because it's very difficult when all you see are all the negative things going on, right? So one thing that's always stuck with me, because I can be a pessimist sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I'm one of those people, because I like to make sure that I'm ahead of the ball game. I don't like surprises. I'm like, well, I thought I planned for this and I planned for that. Why did this happen? Like, how come you didn't do this? But it's easy for us to point fingers, but you have to ask yourself, again, doing that inner work and having enough humility to drop your ego at the door and say, how did I contribute to this, right? Could I have prepared better? Could I have helped here? Could I have done something different, right? So again, I agree with everything that you said. I think it's so important that we invest into ourselves as well, and into ourselves, because you can't pour from the
Wow. I have a few points. I feel like in terms of recognizing and really understanding different personalities, I feel like there's an amount of emotional awareness that you have to have. There's a few books again that I would suggest. Like one is called Emotional Awareness 2.0. Actually, that's available. And then there's another book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's a book that talks a lot about building a team, because the premise of the book says seek first to understand, then seek to be understood. So a lot of times we used to look at it like, it's my business, you gotta do what I say, I need you to do this, all of these things are things we're thinking in our head, like you're my employee, these types of things. But in reality, they have a desired outcome as well. So anyone who comes to work with you or decides to team up with you, they have something that they're trying to get to as well. So I feel like if you're as interested in that thing than you are in the thing that you want, then there's a desired outcome for both parties to reach a thing because you show that care. And so a lot of that comes with understanding. So when I bring people on, I ask a lot of questions. I get to know them as a person. I'm asking about their family. I'm asking about their goals. Not even just professionally. What are your life goals? What are the things you're trying to get to? Because if I can help you get there, then it's a mutual benefit. And what if we could align the business and the things that you do every day to sort of get to that result? And so those are things that I think about. And then I want to also talk about like cultural fit during hiring, because that is key. I feel like there's a particular gut feeling that you get when you're talking to somebody. Even like, it doesn't even have to just be like an employee. It could be like someone you're hiring for, a small task in your business. Maybe you're hiring someone off Fiverr. There's a feeling that you get, like, yeah, I definitely need to hire this person, or I definitely should not hire this person. If it's anything in the middle, just go with it. I definitely should not hire this person, because there's a certain feeling that you get that this is the right thing. I'm doing the right thing. And business just has a way of like giving you that feeling, because you're always so like emotionally and just like aware of your business, especially if this is what you do. Like, always encompassed them. So that feeling is deep rooted in your gut. And if you feel like it's not the right decision, definitely don't make it because it'll teach you time after time. It's happened to me so many times. So I'm like, the gut feeling is telling me don't do it. But like my mind, you're trying to analyze, hyperanalyze, oh, I'm smart, and think about this way. No, it'll humble you every time. So definitely follow that gut feeling as it pertains to culture and fit. This person is not a fit.
I would say listen to your team too. Because sometimes we see things that we something does not see. We're just like, it's a train wreck coming. And you're gonna hit it, and it's gonna affect all of us so quickly. So yeah, I would say listen to your team, especially if you trust them, because that's important. You trust in the team as you're building the team, figuring out like make sense to be better fit.
One last thing I want to add is don't hire the Hulk onto your team expecting them to be Iron Man. And so sometimes we like bring people on, they come in as themselves, and we try to fit them into a position or try to do things, like as a photographer, I might bring another photographer on as a wedding photographer, and they not portraits, you know what I'm saying? But I'm trying to make them do portraits and, wonder why they failing, and it's like, that's not what I saw in them that drew me to them. So I need to focus on what drew me to them to add into my team that way.
Nate, the emotional intelligence, who wrote it? Brandon Coleman or Terry, somebody.
It should be called emotional intelligence.
2.0.
I don't think there is.
I'll let you look at which one. It's 2 books. I'll look.
We'll go on to the next slide here. Let's talk about different types of team members. So a lot of time, I know when we were planning this, we were talking about team members in the context of employees, C-level people. Those are not the only types of team members. If you have an accountant that you use, that is a team member. If you have a freelancer that you hire off of Fiverr, that is a team member. This person is doing a task, you are paying this person to do a task that is going to hopefully move your business forward and move the needle in your business. Types of team members are external, which is like vendors. Like if you have someone who supplies, hair or whatever to you, or even someone overseas, whoever it is, they're still on the team. So you have to treat it that way. And so vendors, consultants, contractors, those are all still team members. Those are external team members. And then internal team members would be people like directors, people like leaders in the company, C-suite executives like these ones right here, and other people that you're hiring directly in your company. Maybe you're sitting in an office with them all day, or maybe you guys are on the same every day. Those are internal. One of my philosophies is that you treat all of them the same. You don't treat the vendor like a vendor. If you treat them like a team member, they will work for you in your business just like someone who is on the internal team. So you want to make sure you're giving them the same level of respect. You want to make sure you're giving them the same level of opportunity within the company. And make sure that they're getting an equal opportunity to work with you in your company. And that mutual respect as well. We're going to go over where to find talent on the next page, but also the importance of networking and employee referrals. So we're all here networking, meeting each other and stuff like that. But it's important to talk about your business needs while you're at places like this, because if you don't say anything, who would know? You never know, the person sitting right next to you may have the answer to your problem. But if you don't say anything, then it just continues to be a problem. You're trying to look all these places where you're here where you can find a solution. And refer people, because I feel like everything comes around. Like especially in business, like once you refer someone, you do a good favor for someone, tell someone about something that needs an opportunity, things like that. It always comes around. I'm not sure why you call it business gods or whatever it is, but it always ends up, circling back around. So you want to make sure you're doing this well. And then lastly, this one is interesting: competence versus drive. I've had to deal with this quite a bit growing my company because I like to work with very high performing individuals, people who get it done. And a lot of times I am tasked with trying to figure out, do I bring this person on because they have that motor, because they have that drive and just that zeal to move the needle, because that's one of our business principles. We want to work with people who are trying to achieve something. Or do I hire this technical person over here that, they may not be, they may not have that fire, but they know what they're doing. Like they know about this thing. And I would say it's a huge balance, right? It's a huge balance. It depends on the thing, right? So don't think so binary towards it. Don't think it's, you have to hire this type of person, you have to hire that type of person. Like I said, with that gut feeling, you will feel whether that's the right fit or not. And so it is definitely a balance because you're always trying to find that right fit. They call it the right seats on the bus. So you have to find the right people to fill in the seats on the bus so that you can head in the direction that you need to go into. So anybody have any thoughts on that?
I agree with you. It's a fine balance of both. You need those who are driven, right? A lot of times those who are very driven have the ideas, but sometimes doesn't have execution. I'm guilty of that. And so I like to work with people. They always say, my dad always says, you're the smartest person in the room, then that's a problem, right? Because that means you know everything, so what's everybody teaching you, right? So competence is important. I think competence sometimes is common sense. It just depends on how you look at it. But competence is important as well, but it's a fine balance. It is. Competency is being able to understand and someone give you a directive and be able to do it, right? Having a drive to be like, hey, this is my vision. I need you to execute. Competence is I execute. This is their vision. So it goes full circle, like you said, balances each other out. But whether your strength or weakness is one or the other, it's always something that can be strengthened. So anything that is, I don't really like to call them weaknesses. I like to call them areas of improvement because we can always strengthen something.
Awesome. Thanks for that. Let's go to the next slide. Did you have something? No? All right. So where to find your team? First of all, Innovators Circle. Funny enough, we just brought on a guy who's a sales person. I remember during our last meeting, I mentioned that we needed some sales and marketing individuals. And dire need of people. And I believe Marcel heard that. Where he is. He heard that and he told someone in his network about it, and they have amazing folks. That's brand new. That's how we got it. Yeah. So I mentioned it in the meeting. So if you have a need, like I said, this is definitely the place to understand. Personal network. It never hurts to ask people that you know for team members, people who you believe is a good fit before you start going on the internet and start trying to find something. Because I found that through personal network or personal connections, there's a certain level of respect that person is trying to uphold because they still have to answer to the person that sent it, right? So there's a way that they're going to act when they come to you and hopefully perform when they are appointed in their business. Local job fairs, of course. Interns. You actually introduced me to this, but there's a website called handshake.com to find interns. We found quite a few marketing interns on the website. Internships.com, of course, and University Career Centers. Also, you can reach out to the director or heads of certain departments of universities and talk to them if you have a certain need for a particular position in your business.
I know UNC Charlotte is good about that. They have a great portal for interns.
Yeah, because they're trying to find people who need to mentor their students as well.
Right.
So it's a give and take. It's a good balance. Remote team members. We have a lot of graphic work in my company. So I would strongly consider Behance. They actually have a free job portal. So if you need like a web website builder or a website specialist or someone who makes graphics, it's a good place to actually post a job over there because people will start flooding their inbox. It's kind of crazy. Upwork, I'm not the biggest fan of Upwork. I haven't used it much, but I've heard it's people who connect on there. I would imagine those are for like the higher up roles, more specialized services like marketing and SEO and copywriting and things like this. And then you have freelancer.com, which is sort of similar. It's where you can find very, very, very skilled individuals there. And Fiverr, which I believe is for like the quick stuff. So if you need a quick little flag made, $20, $50, $100, or you need someone who can, audit something for you real quick or do some small tasks, I would say Fiverr is the best place for that. But, I mean, you'd be surprised. Sometimes you can find some very skilled people on Fiverr as well. Just be ready to spend some money. You're going to spend $20 because you pay for what you get. And then lastly, network expansion. LinkedIn is huge. And I put Boolean section because a lot of people don't know, but you can like do Boolean searches in LinkedIn. So we use it a lot for my company where you can put in quotation marks like real estate developer and maybe investor or something. So you can just imagine how you would use it for your business. Let's say you're looking for entrepreneurs, right? You can look, entrepreneur and or Charlotte or small business, something like that. You can find the people that you're looking for. It's very, very, very detailed. And then online industry forums. My personal preference out of all of these are Facebook groups because that's where people are hanging out. They're looking to get better. They're looking to create a community or be a part of a community that is doing the same thing that they're doing. So we have a lot of appointment centers in our company, and we find them in these groups. So they have these like groups that they're trying to get better. Maybe it's a university for appointment centers, and they're looking for opportunities. It's a good place to find them. So yeah, and then lastly, professional associations. There's one called BNI. I'm not a part of it, but it's actually been to a few good meetings. And it's all about referrals. So people just refer people and stuff like that. Chambers, relevant industry associations, and stuff like that.
I want to keep it rolling. We'll save the time. We will send this out to you guys. For those who register, we don't have your email though. We will need that to send it to you guys. And then lastly, talked about a lot today, covered a lot today, and of course these conversations will continue. So to give you guys a quick update for December, for the Women's Innovators Circle, who's attended Women's Innovators Circle in the past? Okay, solid. So we'll continue with this December 13th, 2023, where the ladies will be covering how to sell yourself without feeling salesy. And then on the men's side, this is something we are introducing publicly here today, is we are introducing our Men's Innovators Circle 2024. So with that, the conversations that, have your conversations. So we're gonna do the same thing on the men's side. A lot of these topics, especially, whether, like, what's the topic? I don't know. Yeah, just like random topic that you may want to see covered in 2024. Dating in entrepreneurship? Or dating as an entrepreneur?
I'm here to learn.
That's just going to be a conversation. I'm going to have to learn about that one. So yeah, that'll be a good topic. And then, we're just going to continue to keep it flowing for 2024. Definitely wanted to share those updates with you guys. So fellas, let some folks know. Because matter of fact, Del, don't you have something that you were building as well? Like on the men's focus side?
Yeah, so on Wednesdays I just got like a group of guys who just come and talk about life and just like mentorship and stuff like that. So on Wednesdays.
Okay.
But I was thinking though, we all said the day an entrepreneur, it'd be dope if we all do like a entrepreneur speed date. I feel like
That's so dangerous. You're teetering a little bit. Operation side of it. Teetering a little bit. Structure's a little wobbly.
But yeah. So to wrap up real quick, guys, we have two QR codes for you guys. For those who are not connected with us on all social media platforms, you can click on the bottom QR code to connect with us. And if you want to volunteer with what we are building here at Open Door CLT and Innovators Circle, that'll be the top QR code, or you can speak with me and Nate personally. Things specifically that we are looking for right now: communications lead, social media manager on the marketing side, on the engagement side, internal community manager, external partnerships, people that can help with the partnership side. On the community manager, think of I don't know about like Discord admins and Facebook admins and things of that nature. Pretty much something similar along those lines. And of course, this will we'll continue to add to this as the organization grows. But these are things we're actively looking for right now. Any questions, comments, or anything like that?
Can I throw out an invite?
What's up?
Can I throw out an invite?
Yes, please do.
You had B&I as one of the good places for networking. There's actually a local group here. It's kind of based on B&I, but it's called Carolina's Referral Group. And it's membership based, so it's generally like one seat per profession. But I'm actually in the South Park group, and tomorrow morning at 8:30, it's Visitors Day. It's at Suffolk Punch in the South Park Mall, and it's a great day to meet up because they buy your breakfast. It's really good. So 8:30 tomorrow morning. It's no obligation. You don't even have to want to join, but it might be a great connect for you, even if you show up one time. And it's a great group of people, so you might want to stick around. But I'd love to see all of them. So Suffolk Punch in the South Park Mall. And that is at the, if you know where the food court is, it's just to the right of the food court.
And any other comments, questions, or anything like that? You had mentioned something about a volunteer earlier.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what's the communication for these
I don't have a full description right now. However, if that's something you're interested in learning more about, speak to us afterwards. But yeah, we're actually just going to keep this up as we wrap up. But yeah, now we definitely appreciate you guys coming out.
No, that's it for me. I mean, if anyone has any more questions, I know this is a topic that we're all learning. Like, really learning every day. I'm sure we're all learning how to build a team. And so, if anyone wants to talk about that or has more questions, then let me know.
You guys, just to be mindful, like the Mind Design team, y'all don't mind helping as a team to with these chairs. We appreciate that. And we're just gonna slowly wrap it. And if anybody wants to connect with each other, we would ask that y'all do it outside.